Hello, everybody. Um, I saw, I think a couple of days ago, CNN were doing this, something to do with a women's march about women, not enough women in the being employed in the science profession. Um, and that, as bloody usual, we always need to we've got to encourage girls to go into these subjects. Well, instead of, we live in the 2017. Women are literally dominating a lot of jobs, such as nursing. They're starting to dominate psychology. They're starting to dominate becoming doctors. I don't know how, but they're starting to become, dominating doctors. In the education system, they're literally 90, if not more, percent of females are in these jobs. In the university, the lecturers more and more seem to be women. The women that are going into university, 60% are women, 40% are men. The thing that really annoys me about this is that these women are always aiming for the jobs that men do extremely well. Like, these businesses, they're always going on. There's not enough women in these businesses, in boardrooms and on and fucking on about them not being in these boardrooms. Whereas I wish that women would stop fucking going on about being in these boardrooms. Why don't you set up your own businesses and then you can have your own fucking boardrooms? Okay? That way you will not have any glass ceilings. Why have men got to build businesses so that you then get fucking stupid bitches to come into those businesses, fuck it up, and then want to go in and be, in these boardrooms? Set up your own businesses. Many of these men, Steve Jobs, Microsoft, HP, Google, all of these guys, a lot of these guys set up their businesses from garages, from sheds, and they became to be big multi-million businesses. There are women in America, there are women in Sweden, there are women in London, there are women in the UK that earn thousands of pounds. I know a friend of mine who works in a telecommunications company. He's on that 25 to 27,000. His ex-wife is on 44,000 a year. Where are women being discriminated in? Women always, this is the reason why I don't have any respect for the modern woman. I really don't have any respect for a woman because they keep on going that government must do this, government must do that. Every time they go running to the government to bring in legislation to force companies to do this for women, to do that. But yet, there are plenty of jobs out there that women can get into. For instance, the buildings trade. Why aren't there more women bricklayers? Why aren't there more women plumbers? Why aren't there more women electricians? Why aren't there more women carpenters? There are girls who could go on these courses. They could go on a carpentry course, no one's going to stop them. They could go on a mechanics course, nobody's going to stop them. They could go on an electrician course, nobody's going to stop them. Yeah, I don't see women going on these courses. I can take an electrician's course. I think it's an 18-week course. It costs £2,500. So if I wanted to become an electrician, and I've got £2,500, I can become an electrician. The same like with women. Then if a woman wanted to advertise her services, female-only electrician, which I don't think is right, but if she says, look, if she's on her own and she wants to specifically cater to women, old women, and she wants to go into and say, right, I can come into your premises and fix your light fittings. I can come into your premises and fix your socket. I can come and provide this kind of thing. It's not a problem. Let me give you an example. There was I saw a film of I think it was in Australia. A girl, she must have been 26 or something like that, and she said that she was, I don't know if she's given up being a mechanic or she was going into a different field, but she said she'd been doing it for 4 years and she was sick and tired of people constantly she said she's a fully fledged mechanic, and she was tired of people constantly asking to speak to a mechanic when she herself was a mechanic. But the point was that it wasn't just the men that were doing it, it was women. So women would come in and say, oh, excuse me, can I speak to the mechanic? And she would say, well, I'm a mechanic, what's your problem? Or if it was a man that said that, they would say, well, I want to speak to the big boss. I want to speak to the boss. Look, as you could, the problem with work is sometimes work is not always a pleasurable experience. It's a means to an end. It means this is the way in which we earn money to be able to do the things that we want to do, to be able to live, to be able to feed, clothe ourselves, and to house ourselves. Okay? So in order to be comfortable in society, we have to work. Okay? We have to work. And sometimes, if you're lucky enough and you find a job that you enjoy doing, brilliant! But in this situation, this girl could have applied to the AA or the RAC or whatever version that Australia has for mechanics. And because the reason why I say that is because my car battery went a few months ago, and I phoned up the AA, and a young man turned up, 36, and he had been working as a mechanic from the age of 22 for a firm, and in that firm he'd been earning 22,000 a year as a mechanic for that firm. So he'd been with that firm for, I think, coming on to 10 years. Then one day he was talking to a friend of his, and his friend had recently left a firm and was working for the AA. And his friend said, look, I'm earning 44 grand in the AA. You're a fully fledged mechanic, you've got your papers, why don't you apply? And he said, the hours I think are from site, I don't know, is it 6 in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, through to 6 at night, or whatever. They're long hours. They're not easy hours. So he had worked in a garage during the summer, during the winter, freezing cold, and so he applied. And he said to me, he's very, very happy now because he's got his workshop is there, all his tools are there, and the majority of the jobs he go to is problem with the battery, problem with the tyre, problem with the starter motor. If it's completely broke down, they order a vehicle to come and pick it up, and he goes on to the next job. But he's loving it. He's his own man. He's out and about. He's not indoors. What I'm trying to say to you is that if you are a qualified female mechanic, maybe you could get in contact with other qualified female mechanics and open your own business, so that when people come to your, and advertise yourself to within the area, female mechanics, and I'm sure that you get a lot of business from women coming to your office, coming to you, and you'll make money. Women have got to stop looking for handouts. Okay? Well, they've got to stop looking for handouts, and they've got to stop looking for people to constantly, oh, you've got to help us. We're entitled people. You must and always should help women. No, fuck you, women. You're in the world now of equality, or supposed equality. But to be honest with you, you don't really live in an equal world anymore. We live in a matrix world where it seems to me that women every day are getting more and more rights over men. Look at the courts, the way they deal with men. You only look in Spain, the same thing's happening in Spain, same thing is happening in Israel. It's just getting ridiculous, and it's because of the fact that men are tough, men are resilient, men can take a lot of punishment. It's the reason why women are getting away with this kind of shit and nonsense in this day and age, in this day in society. But it's got to stop. It's got to stop, because it's getting to be stupid. It really is getting to be stupid. Did you know that 97% of fatalities in the army, American army, I don't know what it is in the British army, but certainly in the American army, are male? So only 3% of women are getting killed in the American army, and that's because they're not on the front line. Which I'm surprised. I thought they used to be on the front line, but they're not. In the workplace, 93% of men that die in the workplace, normal workplace, everyday workplace in America, 93%. So that means that only 7% of women are dying in the workplace. Now, you're going to get, what you'll get stupid feminists, stupid bitches, feminists that say, oh, because women are much more clever, women are much more careful in their jobs. No, it's not that. It's because women are not in these dangerous jobs. They're not. There may be one or two, but overwhelmingly the dangerous jobs are always done by men. I would like to see that change. Stop fucking going on about these STEM subjects. We need to see more women in the dangerous jobs. Nuclear power stations, sewer systems, building bridges, doing skyscrapers. Then hopefully that fatality will cut in half. But I don't see that happening anytime soon, because women are full of shit. They don't want to do these dangerous jobs. They want to do the nice, safe jobs. You know. You see, the problem is, anytime men are dominant in an industry like the STEM subjects, jobs, they want to go in and they want to destroy it. See, nobody complains about women being dominant as nurses. Nobody complains about women being dominant as psychologists. Nobody complains about women being dominant as teachers. Nobody complains about women being dominant in universities. 60% of females and students are in university. Only 40% are male. Nobody's addressing that. Nobody cares about that. Why? Because the agenda of the feminist movement, they don't believe in equality. It's not about equality. The feminist movement's agenda is to dominate the male species. That's what it's about. That's why they keep going on about the STEM subjects. They want to go into these subjects and dominate it. Just like they've done with nursing, just like they've done with teaching, just like they're trying to do with doctoring, etc., etc. The media is dominated by women. Yet they look at the stock market and they're screaming and shouting, there aren't enough women in this, because they want women to dominate that as well. I don't think, my personal view is, I don't think women are very efficient in these jobs that they do at the moment. I don't think we've advanced forward since millions and millions of women have started going to work. I think the standards of work has actually fallen, not gone up. The quality, I mean, has fallen, hasn't gone up. It's fallen. My message to men out there is this: be careful when you work in offices, especially in offices where there's a lot of women in there, because in this day and age you could find yourself in prison, literally. And I would say to a lot of men out there, if you can set up your own business, do so. Work for yourself. If you have contact with women in the work that you do, don't be messing about flirting with them. Just do what you've got to do. Be professional. Do your job, get your money, move on. I do not like feminists. I hate feminists. Now, those women who are advocates of equality and they class themselves as feminists really need to realize that when men hear the word feminist, or a woman says she's a feminist, she's just automatically seen as a bigoted, sexist person. Because feminists are sexist. Okay? They don't like men. It's as simple as that. Third wave feminists do not like men. They're not interested about equality. They want to destroy the male species. They want the male species under their foot. They want to put their foot on the neck of the male species. They want to control the male species. They want to dominate them to such a degree that they do only what women tell them to do. That's what the feminist movement is about. It's not about men and women be equal. It's never been about that. A woman who kicks a man in the nuts, everybody laughs. Women laugh. in the street, that is, a man who smacks a woman in the face because she's been rude, okay, suddenly you'll get all these guys jumping on this guy to beat him up. And it's like, well, hold on a minute. Do you know why she slapped her in the face? But nobody questions when a woman kicks a guy in the nuts. That's not funny. You know, that's a very painful thing to do. Yet nobody cares. They just think it's funny. I'll tell you this now. It's never happened to me. But if I were a woman who did that to me, that would be the end of the relationship. You know, I would never have anything to do with that bitch. Never, ever have anything to do with her. Yeah. So, I don't know. We do live in a society now that's a load of shit. I make it my business. I try not to have any contact with women. I mean, if I do, if they're older women in their 50s and 60s, no problem, usually. But the younger generation, I make it my business to try and avoid as much as I possibly can. I really don't like the millennials, you know, if they're 35 and below, well, it seems to me under the 40s, women are, a lot of them, not all of them, but not particularly nice people. They've got attitudes, not all, but a good proportion have. So I make it my business, if I go to a job, go in, speak and have a chit chat as you normally do, but it's there to do a job, finish, move on to the next one. That's it. That's all I do. That's all I'm interested in. Anyway, look, I just thought I'd do a little video making my statement. Don't like feminists, hate them. See ya.